Hey everyone, I am super pumped for this deep dive. We're going to be talking Tesla today. I know a lot of you are probably pretty fascinated by them too.
Hmm.
There is just so much to talk about. You got innovative tech, the designs are so sleek, and then there's Elon Musk and his bold vision of the future. It's captivating. But sometimes, maybe when something seems a little too good to be true, maybe it's wise to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's easy to get swept up in all the excitement. I mean, their cars are stylish, there's no doubt about it. And they've made huge strides with electric vehicle technology. I mean, investors and consumers, they've all been captivated. But when we dig a little deeper, we see that some things need a closer look, especially when we want to separate fact from speculation.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics. Tesla is leading the pack right now in the US when it comes to electric vehicles. They're in the top 3 spots for EVs that are selling the best, and even their Cybertruck is doing better than anyone thought it would. It's even beating Rivian, and they've been laser focused on that market, so that must mean something, right?
Oh, it definitely does. It shows that Tesla has figured out how to create electric vehicles that people actually want to buy. But being at the top of the EV market is only one piece of the puzzle. We need to think about their financials too. And on the surface, it looks amazing. They've got record profits, strong cash flow, cash reserves are growing. You'd think they were printing money.
I know, right? But I've heard some things about these regulatory credits and how they might be making those profits look better than they really are. Can you break that down for us? What are they, and why are people worried?
Sure, think of regulatory credits as a way for car companies to offset their carbon footprint. Yeah. So companies that make fuel-efficient cars, like electric cars, earn credits, and then they can sell those credits to companies that aren't meeting emission standards. Tesla's got an all-electric lineup, right? So they're making a ton of these credits, selling them, and turning a pretty nice profit.
So basically, they're making money off of other car companies' shortcomings.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with the system itself, really. I mean, it's meant to encourage the move towards cleaner vehicles. But the problem is that these credits, well, they're not unlimited. As other automakers catch up and meet those emissions targets, the need for credits is going to drop. And that means that revenue stream for Tesla.
Could dry right up. It's not a forever thing. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand.
That's a really good way to put it. And then there's the question of their main business, which is making cars. Even though their overall profits are way up, the growth in their car sales revenue is actually flat. So it makes you wonder a little, does it tell the whole story?
It seems like they're using those external factors, like the regulatory credits we talked about, to kind of cover up potential problems in their core business, like putting a Band-Aid on a bigger wound.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes, right?
Right. And then there are these whispers about some of their accounting practices. Some speculate that they might be counting free trials of their full self-driving software as actual sales.
Hold on, wait. So they might be counting money for something people aren't even paying for yet.
That's what some are claiming. Though, what should be clear, these are just claims. There's no proof yet. But it makes you question how transparent they are and whether they're more focused on short-term gains than building something stable for the long haul.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're getting at. We're seeing a pattern here, really. It reminds me of other companies that everyone was so excited about, ones that seemed revolutionary but then crumbled under scrutiny.
I know exactly what you're thinking about. Companies like Enron and Theranos, they were like the rock stars of the business world for a while, captivating investors with their bold visions and technologies that seemed groundbreaking. But when all was said and done, it turned out a lot of their success was built on, well, not much.
Yeah. Elizabeth Holmes, the woman who started Theranos, she was amazing at getting people on board with her vision, painting a picture of a world totally transformed by their blood testing technology. People believed her, for a while anyway. But it all came crashing down when it turned out the technology was basically smoke and mirrors. The whole thing was built on misleading information and straight-up lies.
Exactly. Those stories are warnings. Just because a company is generating a lot of buzz and attracting big investments doesn't mean their business is actually healthy. You got to look beyond the hype, look at the fundamentals carefully.
So are we saying Tesla's another Enron or Theranos waiting to happen?
Not exactly. They're actually making real products. And they've done some amazing things in electric vehicle tech. But the similarities are there, especially when you look at maybe some aggressive accounting and big promises that depend on tech that's not even here yet. It's a reminder to be careful not to get caught up in the excitement without taking a hard look at the details first.
Okay, so we've laid out that Tesla's financials are a bit more complicated than they appear at first glance. But what about how they're organized? I mean, Elon Musk often talks about Tesla being a collection of startups,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So how does that affect their overall strategy and how well they perform?
That's a really interesting point. On the one hand, thinking like a startup could be why they're so agile and innovative. It lets them be flexible and react quickly to changes in the market. But on the other hand, it could also mean they're not focused and lack cohesion. It's like they're juggling a bunch of things at once without a real clear plan. Think about it. How many car companies out there have a world-class trip design team as part of their main operation? It makes you wonder if they're trying to do too much and if all these ambitious plans actually make sense for their core business.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like they're trying to do it all, be everything for everyone, which makes me think about another big part of the Tesla story, their vision for the future. Robotaxis, Optimus robots, a $30,000 electric car, massive production increases. It's also exciting. But is it actually doable? Or is it just hype to keep investors and the public, hooked?
That's the big question, isn't it? Take their full self-driving software. For years, it's been almost here. But there's still a lot of questions about how safe it is and how well it really works. I mean, is the technology really good enough to deal with all the crazy stuff that happens out there on the roads? And even if it does eventually work like they say, think about all the regulations and the ethical issues with self-driving cars. Those are huge hurdles.
It does seem like they're promising things that might not be possible for a long time, both legally and with the tech we have now. And then you've got this whole robotaxi thing, a fleet of self-driving cars that would totally change how we get around. Sounds awesome in theory, but again, the tech isn't there yet. And who knows how it would actually work in the real world.
Exactly. And then there's the goal of a $30,000 electric car. That would be huge. So many more people could afford an electric vehicle. But to get the price that low, they'd need big changes in battery tech and how they manufacture the cars. It's a cool goal, but a lot of experts think it's still way off.
So a lot of Tesla's future success depends on things that are brand new or haven't even been invented yet. It's like
Yeah.
they're going all in on a bunch of maybes. And then you add in Elon Musk, who is known for being overly optimistic and setting deadlines that are impossible to meet. It's hard not to be a little skeptical.
It's true. He's always making these huge statements that don't always pan out. Remember when he said Tesla would have 1 million robo-taxis on the road by 2020? Didn't happen. I mean, I get it. His optimism and vision are inspiring, but when reality doesn't match the hype, it can be a big letdown.
Yeah, it's like setting yourself up for failure. And it could hurt his credibility with investors and customers. And then you have the whole cult of Elon thing. He's super charismatic, and there are people who follow him like he's a, rock star or something. That can be good and bad.
Right, for sure. On the one hand, having such devoted fans is great. It builds brand loyalty. People get excited about their products. But on the other hand, it can create the situation where nobody wants to hear anything bad about Tesla and potential problems get ignored. And when a company's success is so tied to one person, that can be risky.
Definitely. I mean, what happens to Tesla if Elon Musk decides to leave, or if something happens that hurts his reputation? It's something investors should be thinking about. We've covered a lot about Tesla's financials, their plans for the future, and Elon Musk's role. But what about the cars themselves? Are they really as groundbreaking as everyone says?
Look, Tesla's definitely pushed electric vehicles forward. There's no doubt about that. Their cars are beautiful, they perform well, and they have great range. And the supercharger network, it's probably the best out there, which is great for long trips. But are they really as amazing as people say? I mean, are they pushing the boundaries of what a car can be? Or are they just riding a wave and telling a really good story?
It's a good question. I mean, Tesla's cars are cool, there's no denying that. But are they really living up to all the hype?
Well, that's where it gets tricky. See, while Teslas are definitely impressive in a lot of ways, there are also some areas where they're not quite there yet. For example, their build quality. There have been a lot of reports about problems like gaps in the panels, paint issues, stuff like that. And the tech, yeah, it's advanced, but it can be kind of glitchy and unreliable sometimes. Some owners have said their touch screens freeze up, or software updates cause more problems, or even phantom braking with the autopilot.
So there's this idea of Tesla being this perfect futuristic brand.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is things aren't always so smooth. It's like they're so focused on the next big thing that they forget to make sure the basics are solid.
Exactly. And that makes you wonder if they can really keep this up. I mean, can they stay a premium brand if they keep having these quality issues? Can they make enough cars to meet the demand without sacrificing quality? These are things Tesla's going to have to figure out if they want to be the top dog in the car world.
Sounds like Tesla's at a crossroads. They've done some amazing things, but they've got some big challenges ahead too. And it all comes back to that question. Can they actually do what they say they're going to do?
Yeah, can they make full self-driving work? I mean, for real, make it safe and reliable. Can they make an electric car that everyone can afford without cutting corners on quality? Can they deal with all the legal and ethical issues that come with AI and self-driving cars? Those are the big questions. And the answers will tell us if Tesla really changes the world like they say they will, or if it all just falls apart.
Wow, it's a lot to think about. People have really strong feelings about Tesla, both good and bad. They get a lot of praise for their innovation and focus on sustainability, but there's also the criticism about their business practices and tendency to make promises they can't keep.
In the end, it's up to each person to decide what they think about Tesla. Do you believe in their vision? The one with clean energy and self-driving cars everywhere. Are you willing to overlook the problems and trust that they'll figure it out? Or do you think it's all smoke and mirrors and that it's all going to come crashing down eventually?
That's why these deep dives are so great. They give you the info and different points of view so you can make up your own mind. Tesla's a complicated company full of contradictions, and their story is far from over. But hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of who they are, what they want to do, and the obstacles they face. So now it's up to you. Are you buying what Tesla is selling?